All right, well, let's move into a little retirement chatter, and let's look ahead to 2026. And it's kind of interesting when you think about this, and maybe not a surprise, with all the media and all the stuff that goes on in the political world that gets way out of control, and we kind of get overwhelmed by some of the news out there. But basically, the public thinks that the markets are not going to be very good. They're very cynical looking ahead at the economy and all of that. Financial professionals, on the other hand, say, wait a minute, the markets have been really good the last 3 years. We don't see that changing. Why is, or should we, before we get into the numbers, where do you think this disagreement comes from? Is it just the headlines?
Well, I think there's just so much noise out there, right? Headlines of politics and people spouting off on whether it's TV or social media or podcasts. Everyone's got an opinion. And I always say you can go on TV at any given time and somebody's talking about the sky's falling, the other one talks it's all, unicorns and daisies and candy, right? And nobody really knows. You look back at the collapse of 2008, there was a few people that, were saying, there was bad stuff to come, but there was also other people saying this thing's going to keep going up forever, right? And so take it for what it's worth. Fear sells, marketers know that, and the Jim Cramers that have their shows out there, they want to get listeners, and they're gonna scream as loud as they can, one way or the other, to create interest and create controversy and get people to listen in. And it's why you need to remain level-headed and protect against a bad market, and still position yourself to take advantage of good markets.
How do you look at the markets coming up? Like you said, and Warren Buffett always said, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Well, that's true. And to your point earlier, when you're saving for retirement, the ups and downs of the market aren't really that relevant because you've got a lot of time on your side. And to that point, as long as you're in the market and you're dollar cost averaging in, it's been a great wealth creator or for people over time, saving into their 401s or their IRAs on a regular basis, each paycheck, and building wealth and accumulating wealth. As you get towards retirement, though, it's time to start thinking, okay, my accumulation period is kind of coming to a close here. Now it's time to make sure we're protected and have a plan in place to decumulate, to create income for ourselves in retirement. And you still need growth in retirement, but you also have to account for that cornerstone of your retirement plan, which is the income. It's not necessarily the nest egg, the size of your nest egg. It's how much income can it create. And if you can take care of that and you can set yourself up to get the income on a monthly basis you need, okay, then you can leave the rest of it in the market and let that do its thing. And you don't have to worry about the headlines and the ups and downs because it's not money you need anytime soon.
We've talked about the number one fear amongst retirees is the fear of outliving their money. To me, those are people that have never sat down with a team like yours and Mitch Lyons Wealth. Because if you have a plan, if you know where your income is coming from, and you have an idea about all of that, and you know what happens if the market drops, here's what's going to happen to my portfolio, all that. To me, the people that are scared of running out of money have never sat down and had a conversation with the retirement planning team like Mitch Lyons Wealth. Do you buy that?
Well, I think absolutely. And when we take somebody through our retirement of steel analysis, right, to take a look at, okay, dump in all their assets, where are their income sources, whether it's Social Security, whether they have a pension, and analyze all that, factoring in inflation and taxes, how much you might pay in Social Security tax, or will you be subject to IRMA charges on your Medicare? A lot of things people aren't thinking about as they are accumulating wealth. So it's important to analyze all that and map it out, and more importantly, stay on top of it year after year after year, as I say, to keep you between the rumble strips as you go down life's retirement highway. There's a lot of factors, and there's a lot of complexity. Moving one lever in one part of your retirement plan can have effect on other areas. It's kind of like dominoes. You push one, you're going to knock some other ones over. So you better know in advance which ones are going to fall when you pull a lever or push a domino. So that's important, and that's something we can help bring clarity to for people, is just making sure you've got the income that you're not going to outlive. And that can be, again, Social Security, pension. Maybe it's an income annuity that can create proportionately higher amounts of income for you than you can safely take out of a market-based retirement plan. So that's all stuff we talk to folks about.
Are there anything we need to be paying attention to this year? Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, his time is up, I think, in May. And him and Trump have certainly bashed heads for both terms of Trump because Powell's been there the whole time. I don't know how much the Federal Reserve affects the markets and all that, but I know it does because you're moving interest rates up and down, and the market kind of moves along with them at times, I suppose. Anything we need to look out for? How do you think that will play out when Trump replaces Powell?
Well, that's to be determined, and yeah, that's been quite the drama. That's better than a lot of TV shows, just watching those two go at it, button heads in the media. So At the end of the day, again, I always come down to the fact that no one has a crystal ball. No one really knows. And again, if you have a certain portion of your nest egg protected from market volatility, that you have your income guaranteed, I always talk about it in 3 buckets. You got your income bucket, and then your protected bucket, and then your market bucket. We don't have to worry about what's going to happen next month or this year or next year in our market bucket if we've got those other 2 buckets set up. If we've got the income taken care of, if we've got a protected bucket that, we're not going to take a big deep dive if the market falls, right? That bucket's for those unexpected expenses that maybe aren't part of your normal budget. If the roof needs repair or you blow a transmission in your car, we've got dollars there that are accessible to you outside of your normal monthly paycheck, your paycheck for life. So, and then the market, hey, it's going to have its ups and downs, but again, you're not dependent on that for income next month or this year or next year. So we don't have to sweat that, right? And each year we recalibrate. And if we need to move some money from one bucket to another, we do that. But I just want my clients having peace of mind and knowing that their future is certain and that they don't have to have uncertainty based on market volatility.